but Amor's the steady away guy who gets the numbers every week. 11 mark tackles, 142 metres made, so a bit of both ways there.
Yeah.
Another bit of both ways came from Joe Greenwood. 55 tackles in the game, 10 of which were marker tackles. Massive effort from him. He just fell short of 100 metres on 99, but I think it's worth a mention for the all-around effort he put in, given how big his tackle count was. Jack Owens and Adam Swift on the wings both made good metres, 113 for Owens, 110 for Swift, rounding out what we could for St Helens there. July's Super League Player of the Month, Ryan Atkins, is back in the stats again. A try for him. It was a dummy half try that was actually really poor defending, but good, opportunistic and effort from him to score it. It came from quite a distance out. He got 6 tackle busts and 125 metres to go with that one try. Darryl Clark, similarly, from dummy half again, his try that he scored, he also got 122 metres. He was running the ball as a consistent threat off the back of, Ratchford and Russell and whoever else doing it as well. It was classic Warrington beyond for the dummy half running, but Clark's impressive year goes on. Chris Hill with 10 marker tackles and 136 metres, and Matty Russell out there on the wing, but coming in doing a lot of work from dummy half too. 129 metres for him.
Wonderful. So to the fan feedback then, Joshua got in touch with us. Thank you, Joshua. He said, very well played by St Helens, but there were a few silly penalties. It was a really close game. Percival played well deserved by Saints. Elliot Wrench said, on the whole, Saints earned the win. The sloppy handling cost Warrington in the first half, but got back into it with persistent Saints errors. Close at the ending, but too late. Good entertainment though. Where's my Jack Daniels? Diane LBW. She says we were a bit shit again tonight, which was unfortunate. Thankfully, Percy wasn't, so he won the game for us. Well done, that man. Now, obviously, I didn't see this one. Sounds like Mark Percival's playing well following his return.
It was his goal kicking.
Injury. It was his goal kicking.
His goal kicking that was crucial in this one. He wasn't. His performances were fine. It wasn't above the curve.
Yeah.
But his goal kicking was spot on.
Okay. Do you know when they do the cuts to the frequent cuts that they do to the coaches' faces at various points in time? When they cut to Kieran Cunningham, was Sean Long next to him looking like he doesn't really know where he is? Yeah,
with sort of his lip all bent out or show.
He always looks like he's either just woken up or he's got serious amnesia and he doesn't want to kind of give the game away. He always looks like he's like, what am I doing here? You watch him next time. I saw this a couple of weeks ago. He looks genuinely confused. Aidan Stalker got in touch with us. He said LMS and his lovely man Scrunchy, maybe that's what LMS stands for, is a god amongst men, according to Aidan.
Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook.
So it doesn't stand for lovely man Scrunchy.
No, but other things that LMS could stand for, let's get them in.
Yes.
Yeah. Loud mouth
swine. Very good. I was going to go with swine. Okay, in a rough season, it's been a joy to watch Amor tackle his heart out. Incredible in the last few minutes. Tom Ackley 99 said, I didn't think we did too bad considering Clark looked like the only one interested. Also, I have to say that the Saints following was impressive tonight. Tyler Casfan, he got in touch. Said, close game, Saints looking a lot more together than earlier in the season. The Lomax try was excellent, but both teams are guilty of too many mistakes. Bad result for my team, which is Castle for Tigers. We may as well enjoy the last 7 games with no pressure. I think he must have put this one in before the win over Hull. But
I think, every Saints win is
bad news for them, really, isn't
hurdle
it?
To climb.
That's true. Wire Joe got in touch. He said we did well to get that close to them tonight. They wanted it more on both sides of the ball, and the best team won. We're always shy against them at home, so we dust ourselves down and move on. Hubcap might be out of reach, but we're still in the mix for 2 out of 3, and we would have taken that coming into the season.
Yeah, there was a lot of assumptions on Thursday night, including from Tony Smith, that Hull would just beat Cass and then they'd be too far away to threaten for the league leadership, but they're only a point behind.
Yeah.
So let's not get too hasty, kids.
Absolutely. So we'll give the last word on this one to Wally Frogmore, who sent in 2 messages, so he obviously hasn't figured out the Scoots McKenzie trick. But he said, uncharacteristic errors by Roby in the first half had me thinking we were in for a long game, but that subsided as Louis, good hair don't care, crashed through the line. Jack Hughes found himself not only poking Lou McCarthy Scarsbrook eye, but away through the Saints' defence. Should have been Sinbid, #ref's fault. Turner switched on beast mode to pull ahead again, but Wire kept fighting. The try saver by Percival was massive. All in all, it was a great win by Saints in a game which was as tight as my clenched anus after that finish.
Yeah, no, I think it was
Classic
Scoots who
Cromwell.
put him onto this
I see.
tactic, and I don't think it's reasonable.
You don't applaud this, do you, in any way? I noticed your response, but...
Look, if people are wanting, I can increase the character count a little bit more on the Google Forms, but I'm reluctant to get into sort of essay form.
I think if we do increase the character format, and it will be entirely your decision, I think the people listening and thinking you're contributing need to look within themselves and work out whether or not they have sufficiently good grammar to be able to handle that extra responsibility, because one of us has to read this out, and if it's just garbled bullshit, then to be honest with you, I'm not really sure I want to give you that much rope to hang me with. But anyway, right, moving on.
It is all about the fan view, so maybe we should knock it up a few more characters.
Just police yourselves a little bit, that's all I'm saying. Right, it's a Friday night then, and it was Hull FC 16, Castleford 32 tries from Ryan Hampshire helped Castleford to an upset win over FC over at the KCOM, and you called it, Mark. You called it big time.
Yeah, I had a feeling like it wasn't just a bullshit pissing in the wind kind of. Here we go. Let's go.
Well, these things never are when they come true, Mark. That's the point, isn't it? But,
well done. I genuinely felt it. That there was an upset brewing. And so it happened, and really it was a dominant first half. Absolutely, that saw them over the line.
20-0 at half time is impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, Hull FC maybe they launched a bit of a comeback that'll spur them on for the next few weeks in the build up to the cup final and then some bigger games to come after the cup final.
Yeah, in
terms of the Super 8s for them, but it keeps things interesting. It means that 5 teams are still realistically in with contention of making it to the top of the table. 3 teams certainly are neck and neck for that position.
I was going to say, do you think that with Hull's relative inexperience in competing on all fronts for all trophies, that perhaps they're guilty of taking their eye off the ball a little bit, and maybe they're being distracted by an upcoming cup final or something like that's happening to them, and that's what's caused this sort of little dip? Do you think that could be in some way?
Maybe that's what it is. I just think it's that they are a very good team. They're not an outstanding team. So maybe that part of that step up is being able to balance those pressures and being able to come through maybe a few team changes or what have you to get to the other side. Maybe. So maybe you've got the nail on the head with that one, really. What was impressive for Castleford was, obviously Gale's been the main man, but Chase had a couple of really good involvements. He's not match fit yet, it seems to me. He seemed like he was struggling a few times, but he was supported by the other blokes around him. But certainly that helps them. It gives them two sides of creativity, with Dawn popping up wherever you will as well. And I think he wants to go out.
So they have a lot of creative players on the field then at certain points, with Hampshire, Dawn, Chase and Gale.
Hampshire's gone back to his wing spot that he's done okay in, actually, the couple of times he's played there. So I think he's got 5 tries in 3 games on the wing or something.
He's still not going to be happy though, is he?
Well, he's putting his hand up to do it now. I think he's maybe realised that that's what's required.
Bit more of a team ethic.
And that'll stand him in good stead, actually, because you've got to think he'll be sliding further and further down the half-back pecking order at his parent club if he ever goes back. So we'll see. But Castleford are entertaining when they're flinging it around, when they're on form, when they're finding gaps. There was plenty to enjoy from them. Hull FC made a fist of it in the end, but they were never really in this game. To be completely honest.
Fair enough. So what did the stats tell us then?
Well,
similar story, I assume.
Well, maybe a surprising number from this one is both teams made 8 clean breaks, but Cass were able to convert theirs to 6 tries to Hull FC's 3. 200 metres at nearly a metre per carry, better team average. On not that much more possession, actually. I think they had about a set difference in terms of carries. Were key for Cass. They were on the wrong end of the penalty count, 8-5, but made 5 fewer errors, 7 to Hull's 12. So I think it was Cass with the ball, being stronger with the ball. Was the key to this one, being more safe with the ball, I suppose.
I see. Okay, so individually, who stood out for us?
Well, Greg Minikin keeps doing a good job when he gets to go, doesn't he? He got a try and a try assist in this one, in for Jake Webster in that left centre. 5 tackle busts, 141 metres. Dennis Solomona set up Greg Minikin's try and had 146 running metres of his own. Oliver Holmes with 142 metres. That doesn't tell the full story really well. I think his just work rate was relentless in this one. Didn't have to make as many tackles as maybe some other players around the league this weekend, but everything he did was really top draw. Grant Millington, 138 metres as well. He's really given some sort of impact now. He's settled into a bench role, it seems.
Yeah, very good. And for Hull FC, who stood out?
Well, Jamie Shawlin at fullback with a try, 6 tackle balls, 108 metres. He did look the one threatening player with some mazy runs here and there, and that sort of led to him getting himself a score as well. Danny Houghton, 51 tackles, 11 marker tackles, that's what I do. Kirk Yeeman, 119 metres in the centre, and Carlos Tumavavi, who played in the other centre this time on the right centre, he got 124 metres, so strong running on the fringes, but strange to sort of see it that they were sort of beaten in the pack.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, fan reviews then. Alan Walker got in touch. He said, one thing, great to see Rangi Chase back in Super League, a true talent who's come back from a bigger battle, and he said he enjoyed it, so hashtag state of mind. That's fantastic, thank you, and I couldn't agree more. Alan Walker. Scoots28 Mac, our friend Sarah, got in touch, said the highlight of her night was realising that her son wasn't waving the banner in the middle of the pitch, but instead was coming out with the players. Cass bossed the game and everything they tried came off. I'm sure it was a night to remember for young Mr. Mackenzie then.
That's great. I haven't read through these. They just get put into the rundown. That's
well, great. After his comments about Pat Richards, I wasn't sure whether or not you'd be particularly bothered about this young man having a good time, but I think it's a wonderful thing.
It's nice to see them getting engaged. Maybe his opinions will develop into more sensible and reasonable ones as time goes by, you see, and he won't be such a...
Well, being a Hull FC fan, he's spending a lot of time around a successful kicker at the minute, isn't he? So he's probably got high standards.
Yeah, well, don't do down of other people.
No, okay.
No, great experience for the lads.
And
I love how much involvement rugby league clubs do with the
young junior teams.
Yeah. Although for the first time this year, Wigan didn't have any youngsters waving the flags.
Right.
I don't know if the Latics, with their bullshit ways, didn't want the pitch getting scuffed up at all by 50.
Yeah, it's important.
10-year-olds.
It's important in League One, isn't it, to have a flat played surface? Because the ball, I mean, as long as the penalty areas are flat in League One, then surely you're alright.
Did they not go up?
I couldn't care less. I don't know.
They might be in I think they're in the Championship again, but either way,
marginally less long ball football for you Latics fans then.
But
speaking of good things for kids, did you see the Blake Austin story that was floating around this week? Obviously on the back of him picking up that young lad and taking to the ground. This week the story was, and you might already know it, but a young team goes down to Canberra to watch them train, just on the off chance of hoping to catch up with some of their stars and their idols. But it turns out that the lads were on an off day. Word gets around and Blake Austin, along with a couple of the other Canberra lads, go down to the training ground to meet these kids and have a chat with them and take some photos. And as the conversation's going on, Blake Austin asks them when their next game is, and then rocks up at that game, sits on the bench and does the half-time and full-time team talks for this young kids team. I'm starting to really want Blake Austin to play for England, just based on what an absolute
character alone.
He looks like the bad guy. He looks like a bad guy out of something like Boardwalk Empire. You know, he's tatty goatee, but his hair all slicked back. He reminds me a little bit of your man out of Boardwalk Empire. But what an absolute gent! That's one of the. You read these stories and you think that's why I love rugby league. That's what That's one of the things that draws me to this sport. Tyler Casfan also got in touch. He said, a dominant, entertaining win. Not going to dwell on the 10-minute brain fart. Our forwards did a great job tonight. Junior Moores was excellent. I thought Rangi Chase had a decent first game back. Only more improvements to come from him in the last 6 games.
Yeah, it was his first start, and he had a bit of a go off the bench, I think, didn't he, the other week? But anyway, his first start.
Absolutely. Colin Render said, well done, Cass. I'd just like to say that it's nice to see Rangi Chase back playing the sport he loves after going through some tough times. Hashtag it's okay to talk. hashtag Andy's Man Club, and we'll be talking about those hashtags later on in the show. Rich Langley, he said, on form cast, downed and out of sorts, FC was always going to be hard maintaining the levels they have set, but FC met a cast side fighting for their season and just couldn't hold on. First 30 minutes killed the match. And final word on this one goes to Fat Boy Rob, who's a Cast Tigers fan. Not even the M62 being shut and the world's longest diversion could spoil this one. Near perfect first half for Cast. They didn't panic, and they didn't panic in the second half when Hull came back. Good to see both touch judges assisting the ref, who had a very good game as well. Fantastic stuff then. So also on Friday night, Wigan were cruising to victory over Wakefield with an 11 try